Thank you very much, you guys. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Martha McCallum, and this is the story. We are waiting for President Trump at the White House, where he will sign more executive orders. His first 2 weeks have just absolutely been at warp speed, making past administrations seem, quote, almost like snail mail, according to USA Today's D.C. bureau chief Susan Page. Meanwhile, Trump's chief disruptor, Elon Musk, coming under a lot of fire from Democrats who say that he has too much power. And he's pushing to rid the government of a lot of wasteful spending.
Anytime a person can pay $250 million into a campaign and they be given full access to the Department of Treasury of the United States of America, we are at war.
We will not allow the shadow government that Musk is leading to destroy government agencies.
We have got to tell Elon Musk, nobody elected your ass.
Congressman Jerry Connolly and other Democrats are going to call for the committee's Republicans to subpoena Elon Musk.
That was the House Oversight Committee yesterday holding a hearing on resizing or right-sizing the government. This as Democrats fight the billionaire Elon Musk's efforts to slash government spending. Let's bring in the House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer. That was quite a hearing you had yesterday. The Democrats really seem to be gunning for Mr. Musk.
They're gunning for Mr. Musk. I find it ironic that they keep referring to Elon Musk as an unelected bureaucrat or whatever their terminology is they're using when they've stood silent over the past 4 years when unelected bureaucrats have seemingly been running our country. They've been operating their agencies without any oversight, without any accountability, and they've been doing what they wanted to do, whether it was letting employees work from home or enacting policy like forgiving student loan debt when clearly the law didn't state that. I support what Elon Musk is doing. He's being very transparent with the American people. He's tweeting out multiple tweets per hour saying what his goals are, and I think it's what the American people want.
Yeah, well, I guess your position on bureaucrats depends on whose bureaucrats they are. People tend to like their own bureaucrats better than they like other ones. But the Democrats are taking to the streets. The kerfuffle over USAID has got them really worked up, USAID. Listen to what they've been saying out there on the streets.
We're here today because an unelected billionaire and his team have been given full and unfettered access to our taxpayer money and our government.
We know that we work for the American people, and what we're not going to do is stand around while they pull this bull.
We have got to tell Elon Musk, nobody elected your.
Wow. Well, they certainly are worked up. What's interesting is that a new Reuters Ipsos poll shows that if given the chance, 56% of people in America would suspend all foreign assistance, not just USAID. But when they say that Elon Musk has got unfettered access to American taxpayer money, he doesn't. He had, up until recently, unfettered access to look at where it was being spent. And now, apparently, the DOJ has restricted that access at the Treasury Department. Now, only 2 Treasury Department employees with read-only access can look into where the money's going. But they seem to be characterizing this in a way that's not actually happening.
It's not. This is one of the false narratives that the Democrats have operated by over the past 4 years. They would all get together on a false narrative and work with their allies in the left and in the left-wing media to try to spread disinformation. What Elon Musk is doing is very transparent. I think it's very popular with the American people. He's looking at government waste, fraud, abuse, and inefficiency in the federal government and trying to root it out. That's what we need desperately. We can't continue to operate with a $2 trillion annual deficit. We've got to get spending under control. The best place to look, and the polling shows that, is with foreign aid. And the Democrats, this is a strange hill for them to die on because I don't think the American people support foreign aid in general, but when they really dissect the numbers and realize that USAID hasn't been transparent with Congress, and we're going to find more and more suspicious transactions with this USAID money, whether it be to certain left-wing political media outlets or whether it be to certain left-wing groups that are spreading, and trying to indoctrinate people into left-wing ideology. I think the American people are going to support what Elon Musk is doing. And I said this at the hearing yesterday. Trump derangement syndrome is a virus that the Democrats have had for 4 years. It appears that that virus has mutated into Musk derangement syndrome now.
Well, I mean, there are so many targets. Hey, we don't have time to talk about it, but I just wanted to point out that you've got a hearing coming up on March the 5th at which the mayors of 4 sanctuary cities, New York, Chicago, Boston, and Denver, will be in attendance. So we'll be watching for that. Mr. Chairman, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Dana?
Senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram's live on the Hill. So, Chad, what's happening in the Senate right now?
Well, it's a marathon session, a talkathon. In fact, Democrats kept the Senate in session since 10:30 yesterday morning and through the night. They're protesting Doge, Elon Musk, and the nomination of Russ Vought as budget director. Democrats claim Musk and Vought will steal the power of the purse granted to Congress under the Constitution.
Whatever the challenge is, whatever the fear is, what I want to tell you right now is don't normalize a president who is violating the separation of powers. Don't normalize a president who is violating civil service laws. Don't normalize a president who is ignoring the dictates of Congress and establishing agencies.
Some Republicans have privately whispered skepticism about Musk and the role of the executive branch when it comes to federal spending. But publicly, nearly all Republicans applaud what Doge is doing. The GOP wants to weed out what it says is unnecessary spending.
There's a reckoning coming, and the American people support this. I think permanent Washington is shaking right now because they're really afraid the American people are going to understand what's been going on for years, if not decades.
Democrats have long tailored a message opposing President Trump, but now the left has another foe, Elon Musk. Liberals are working to undercut Musk.
We are going to fight to fire Elon Musk, or at minimum, anybody in this country, anybody in Congress should at least agree that he shouldn't be given unconstitutional powers to enrich himself with our taxpayer money.
Democrats worry about Vought if he's confirmed as budget director, but Democrats cannot derail the nomination. That's because all Republicans will vote yes. The Democrats' protest time expires at 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. Vought could become only the second nominee confirmed without bipartisan support.
So let's bring in Carolyn Levitt, the White House press secretary, to dig more into this and other issues. Carolyn, it's great to see you. It's good to have our own private briefing today.
It's great to see you, too. Thanks for having me, guys.
So the Democrats are really screaming from the rooftops about Doge, all centered around Elon Musk and USAID. Here's just a little bit of what they've been doing in the past few days.
First and foremost, Elon Musk. This is a dictatorship in the making. We're not going to have apartheid in America anymore.
So here's the interesting thing. A Reuters Ipsos poll that was done right after the USAID news broke found that 56% of people would like to see all foreign assistance programs suspended, which is leading a lot of people to say that the Democrats have picked a very weird hill to die on.
That's because there's no other hill to die on, because President Trump continues to deliver on the promises that he made to the American people on the campaign trail, and going through the federal government line by line and making this government more efficient is one of those priorities and one of those promises that President Trump made. And as you just cited, John, 56% of Americans support freezing foreign aid. And I read a fascinating article in the Washington Post today. They interviewed voters in Pennsylvania, and all of them said that they support President Trump and Elon Musk's efforts to make this government more efficient. What President Trump and Elon Musk and this entire administration is trying to do is make our bloated bureaucracy here in Washington run like a profitable business. And every agency has been tasked with going line by line and ensuring that the American taxpayers' money is aligned with the American people's interests. It's a common sense solution to fixing a decades-old problem of bloated bureaucracy, waste, fraud, and abuse. And the vast majority of Americans support it. So the Democrats can hoot and holler all they want. This White House will stay committed to delivering on President Trump's priorities and being good stewards of the hard.
Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz from Florida is the member of the bipartisan Doge caucus, and he joins me now. Congressman, thank you very much for being here. I want to put up a number that is a poll number from the Fox News voter analysis at the election. And it shows that people were asked, how much change would you like to see in how the country is run? And 83% said they wanted substantial change or complete and total overhaul. Your thoughts on your colleagues who are very upset with what Musk is doing, despite the fact that he's cutting through a lot of waste in the government so far?
No, thanks for having me. That poll is exactly one of the reasons why I joined the Doge caucus, is that I do believe government needs to be run more efficiently, and I do believe that government needs to save money, and I do believe there are lots of programs that are older programs or some expenditures that we can get rid of. That's why I joined the Doge caucus. I believe in the mission. What is going on, though, Martha, let's separate the mission from the execution. Right? The execution of what's happening is not what was told. What was told is that Doge was going to be an advisory role, and it was going to find these programs, make those recommendations, and then Congress was going to do that. That's how Article 1 of the Constitution works. What's happening instead is Doge on their own is nixing programs that are funded by Congress. And so that is where there is some concern. By the way, don't listen to me, listen to Republicans. Republicans in November, The Economist did a poll. 47% of Republicans wanted Elon Musk very involved with the government. That same poll that was taken last week, only 26% of Republicans now want him very involved with the government.
I'm aware of that number. You know what? I've been covering this for a long time, and there have been efforts that Congress was deep into where spending was going to be cut, and ultimately it never happened. So when I see that number of Republicans, as you say, who were supportive of Musk, who now aren't, what I see is the pushback of Congress to not want spending cut. There is so much. Let me just, we could talk numbers forever, but just take a look at this. The Government Accountability Report, $236 billion in improper payments just in 2023. And 79% of that comes from Medicare, Medicaid, federal pandemic unemployment assistance. So maybe we need a bulldozer to come in and make these cuts and then move to Congress to approve anything that really falls more in Congress's venue.
Well, Martha, let me say two things. One is we still have to do it legally, right? And so I understand we want to make these cuts, but we still have to do it legally. The second thing I would say is go look at the debt clock right now. And look, it's only been 2 weeks. I'm a reasonable, rational guy, but we can have this conversation 2 weeks from now. We can have this conversation a month from now. Yeah. Go look at the debt clock. It's not stopped. It's not reversed. We're still adding to the deficit and the debt. And so the only way we're going to reverse that is it's going to have to go through the legislative body. It's going to have to come to reconciliation.
But some of it can be done by executive order. I mean, for example, USAID was created by a presidential edict.
Okay, but the debt clock
was moved out of the State Department, now back into the State Department. Those are all executive authorities.
I got it, but it hasn't stopped the debt clock. If you go look at the debt clock, if you go look at the debt clock that Thomas Massie wears, and I'm going to start wearing it because I joined the Doge caucus, the debt clock needs to start reversing. That's when we know when we have success. And so listen, again, I'm a Doge member. I agree with the mission, but we have to execute this correctly.
All right, Jared Moskowitz, thank you very much. We really appreciate you coming on. And I think after they get through the things they can do with executive orders, they're going to need a lot of help from Congress. So we thank you for joining us today. Thanks, sir. Like what they're seeing so far, let's talk to two of them. Teresa Albano is a Republican from New Jersey, and Ranger Irwin is a registered independent from Nevada, and they both voted for President Trump. We spoke with them during the election. Welcome back to both of you. It's great to have you here. Teresa, let me start with you. You hear the pushback on Capitol Hill, and I think Musk is exactly right when he said, people aren't going to like it when we start cutting their budgets. Tell me what you think overall of the first 17 days or so.
I've been tuning in. I'm a stay-at-home mom now, so I've been tuning in all day. And I loved the analogy that I heard before about how a boyfriend or a girlfriend, rather, checks in on the boyfriend's phone. And it's like, they don't like what they see and they start yelling. I cannot believe some of the stuff that I'm hearing them say and cursing. And I think that they're very upset that this is coming, to the public eye. I'm naive. I had no idea where some of this money was going. And I'm angry about it, too. I mean, I come from a family of hard workers. My husband's family are at work every single day, and you want to know where your money's going. Every American does.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is smart, and he's a little intimidating, but I trust that Trump hired him to do the right job, and I really do have faith in it.
So, Ranger, how about you, as a young man who is an independent voter and voted for Trump in this election? Tell me what your take is. What has impressed you? What are you concerned about, if anything?
I'm not really concerned at all. I'm a firm believer in Trump. I know that he has America's best interest at heart. And I feel like he 100% got Elon Musk to join him. Because if you look at Elon's track record, he's really cut back on like lots of other companies he's bought, like Twitter. They let like half the company go, and Twitter's been amazing since. He's really just, he's gotten someone who knows what the heck they're doing.
Yeah, it's so interesting. All companies, public companies, have to open their books to their shareholders because they're the people who have used their money to invest in the company. And Teresa, it's a similar situation. As taxpayers, our money runs the government, dollar for dollar. So when you see some of these Democrat lawmakers largely, screaming about saying we're at war, and that they are so outraged that he has access. But, does that strike you? Are you concerned about the access? Because it's read-only, as Dagan said before. It's you open the file. They can't touch the file, change the file. They just have access to look at it.
I just think they're panicking. I don't think they're helping themselves at all. I really don't think they want people to see where this money is going. I don't even know if it's going, to some of the places that they're saying it's going. How are we supposed to know that it's not going in their pockets? They're putting up that much of a stink about it. Why else than show it all if you have nothing to hide?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
again, I'm angry about it as well.
Ranger, I'm curious what you think, as a young man, because people in your age group really helped put Trump over the top. And as you look at this now and you think about, what young men had been unhappy about, just in a general sense, what is your experience? I also noticed that recruitment is way up in the military for young people, young men and women joining. What about that part of the story?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. So in terms of, the issue for young men and why young men were so supportive of Trump, do you think that he's sustaining the gratitude of the young men who helped push him over the top?
Oh, definitely. All of my friends and all my coworkers have really, they've been really excited and really been grateful for what Donald Trump's been doing. They feel like he's the strong leader that America's been needing for a while now.